Will these games shine on the silver screen?
Video games, that is.
Hi everyone, Nate here, and I am joined by my friend, the very talented Mr. Lyle Valentine. How's it going, Lyle?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm pretty excited about this video. Lyle, like I said, is very talented, and today he is going to be playing the part of video guru. Lyle, tell us about your gaming endeavors.
Well, I have a Twitch channel. I'm at Sharks Gaming. Right now I'm playing through Dark Souls, so I'm doing some Let's Plays of that, and then I actually do some speed running of a game with my girlfriend Toddy's. So those are my kind of big draws right now.
Very cool. Now, Lyle, I don't have a vast knowledge of video games, as we've been talking about leading up to this video, but you and I have had our adventures in video games. In fact, you were in a movie that I directed over on the America's Front Porch channel, 8-Bit Boogie, and you played a gamer in that. What are your memories of that whole situation?
That was a long day, but no, it was a blast. It was a lot of fun to just get to be a video game nerd for a day and make up an entire video game, which I believe is called Bellboy.
Gary, what do you want?
Phil asked me to stop by. He wanted my opinion on a rare game.
He did. That seems unlikely.
Me and Phil are much closer these days. It was just a stupid, silly rivalry. You remember? I can't even remember what started it.
He beat your high score, and then he started dating me after you asked me out every day for 3 years.
Ah, that was it.
The link to that video will be in the annotations of this video.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. This video has been inspired by the new Mortal Kombat movie that is getting ready to come out at the time of this video. Lyle is going to put his vast video game knowledge to work on me, who's playing the part of an ignorant moviegoer that for sure doesn't have the vast knowledge of gaming backgrounds that Lyle does. Now, I don't know what games he's going to bring up. I'm totally coming into this blind. He's not even going to tell me the name of the games. He's going to give me the gist of a video game, and I'm going to have to judge them on 3 categories: story, character, and adaptability. And we're going to tally those up at the end and see which of these games would be a best fit for the big screen.
So the games that I've chosen currently have no film or TV show adaptations, with the one being an exception that it does have a film officially in the works, but it's not going to come out until later this year or early next year. So those games I've chosen don't currently have anything, and hey, maybe we'll talk somebody into making something.
Well, that would be pretty awesome. So you ready to get this going?
Let's do it.
All right.
In a world where organic and robotic life live in tandem, where the old magic is revered, a baby girl is discovered amongst the ancient relics. She has been born motherless, and the matriarchs cast her away to be raised by an outcast father. As she grows, it is evident that she is no normal girl. She has knowledge that she shouldn't have, and when she finds an artifact in the caves, the Forbidden Caves, that allows her to interface with the robotic world, it is clear that she is no normal child. As she grows, she questions everything that she is taught, knowing that there is something else for her out there. She does not want to be an outcast and is constantly questioning why she has to be, so she chooses to attend the yearly trials, the warrior trials. If she wins, she'll be accepted into the tribe. However, nearing the end, almost at victory, her tribe is attacked by a mysterious villain. And as she's pulled aside by the matriarchs, they begin to reveal the mystery of her birth. They don't know where she came from. She just appeared. The matriarchs send her out to discover why the robotic life in the area has begun to change, to become violent, and to seek her truth. What she finds will change everything.
Wow, well, that's got a lot going on there.
Yeah.
That does sound pretty cool. So now I'm going to ask a few questions here, just to see, to just try to determine my scoring. But that sounds pretty intriguing already. Now, again, we don't know the names of these games yet. You're going to reveal that here in a minute. But so it sounds like it might be some sort of a post-apocalyptic situation, or what are we talking about there?
Definitely possible.
Okay.
To remain the integrity of the plot, I cannot reveal if it is post-apocalyptic or not. That's something you'll have to discover as the story goes.
Got it. So it's got robots, and it's got kind of a primitive vibe to it as well.
There are, to be clear, they are robotic like animals. So there's like a robotic saber-toothed tiger. There's a robotic Tyrannosaurus Rex. There's robotic like horse type creatures.
Okay. So now how old is the main character, like, as we get into the main story of the whole situation?
Around 18.
Okay. So kind of maybe more of a young adult type of movie if it were to become a thing?
I would think so. Yeah. Young adults, somewhere in there. Makes sense.
Okay. Well, that sounds pretty intriguing. So I'm going to go ahead and give the story, and so we're scoring these out of 100 possible points in each category.
Okay.
So it's a nice round number, and hopefully easy for me to do math, which you just never know these days. So the story, that was a great rundown, Lyle. Hats off to you there. So I'm gonna give that story, that sounds like a solid 82. We'll give that an 82 to start. That sounds like it's got a lot of different things going on that would definitely keep people's interest. Character-wise, so you have the main girl there.
Something that happens with a lot of female characters, especially when they're the main characters, they feel like they have to force in a romantic plot, or at least a romantic subplot. For example, Wonder Woman.
Sure.
You know, had to have the whole Chris Pine subplot, and I have not even watched 1984, but obviously they brought that back somehow. I don't want to talk about it. But in this game,
I don't want to talk about it either, Lyle.
Yeah, I don't think anybody does. There is no romantic subplot in this game. There is one character that is somewhat interested in her, and she just has no interest. She is interested in figuring out her mystery and going through the world like that. There is no romantic subplot, and I personally love the game all the more for that.
Tell me a little bit about maybe the supporting characters.
So the first one that you're going to meet is the man that raises her, who his name I am currently forgetting, but he is crucial to the way she views the world, to her raising. And I'm going to give a little bit of a spoiler here, but it's not a huge one. He dies toward the beginning.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. So then it's all about who she encounters along the way. So as she leaves her tribe and goes out into the world, she's going to encounter people that will become her allies, people from other tribes with different backgrounds, but who all seek a similar end goal. And by the time the story is done, it is all those characters she meets coming together for that final battle, as it were.
Got it. Now, does it give too much away to ask what the villain is like? Because any good movie is only as good as its villain.
So initially, the villain is just the mystery. The robotic life has become much more aggressive and much more violent. And there is this tribe that, for whatever reason, is coming in and is killing off the other tribes, and we don't know. But eventually, it is revealed to you that someone you thought was your ally actually is the true villain of the game and is working against you the whole time, because the way he sees the world, the solution that he sees, is completely opposite of the solution you see. And when those things clash, you get the true villain of the game.
Wow. So that is pretty intriguing, actually. I think I've got enough there to give the character score for this game, and that sounds like it's got a lot of potential. So I'm gonna give that one a pretty high mark. I'm gonna say 90 even.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
So it sounds like this is gonna be very special effects heavy.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna have to do lots of special effects,
so
especially with the robotic life.
A lot of CGI, a lot of all that fun stuff.
Absolutely.
Okay. So to me, like, and one thing we forgot to mention, we're kind of determining whether this could be a show or a movie. So I would, and this doesn't count in the overall score, but I would say this definitely leans towards the movie element. And it sounds like it could potentially even be multiple movies. So it sounds like it's got that big kind of a story. And well, I guess that would be a question. Does this game have sequels?
It will. It has one in the works currently. We don't know a lot of details on it yet, but it is coming.
Well, I'm going to say that has pretty high adaptability because, you know, Hollywood has shown that they're not afraid to do those effects-heavy movies. So I'd say that score is pretty high as well. So I'm gonna put that as, and I'm gonna say because it would be expensive. So that kind of, you know, gives it a knock a little bit. So I'm gonna put that at a 77. That is our 3 scores for that game. Well, I guess it's time to reveal what the game is.
I chose some of my favorite games today, just to kind of start us off.
Sure.
This game is a game called Horizon Zero Dawn.
Wow, that does look pretty badass. I can definitely see the potential for that to be an awesome movie. What stood out to me in that was the costumes. The world seemed very immersive, and the characters did seem pretty awesome as well. So that was a great pitch that you gave, and I think that definitely earned these high scores that it got.
The Age of Fire has outlived its time. The gods have taken too much. The world is decaying, and humans are becoming undead, unable to die, and if they have no purpose, they hollow. The prophecy says there will be a chosen undead to escape, ring the bells of awakening, and end the Age of Fire. Chosen undead, do you have the resolve? Can you overcome what is before you? Defeat a dragon, a demon, a god? Will you usher in an age of darkness, or will you reignite the fire?
Wow, so it sounds like there's definitely a fork in the road in this movie or this game, I guess. So is it one of those where you can kind of choose your path, whether you're going to be quote unquote good or quote unquote evil?
No, it is not one of those games. You have a choice, you have a purpose, and then you have a choice at the end between the 2 options that I gave there, which is either ushering in an age of darkness or continuing the Age of Fire.
So is this more of an open world type game?
Ish. I would call it linear. However, you do have multiple choices of directions you could go within the game. Okay. But from a storytelling perspective, it is the same set story beats.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and give the story on that one. It seems like it could get convoluted. I'm going to give it a score for story at around 66.
That's fair. It's pretty vague. Even in the game, it's pretty vague.
So the main character in this one is some sort of a zombie undead creature.
So they are cursed with undeath.
Okay.
What that means is that even if they die, they will rise again. However, the more times you die, or if you have no purpose, you will eventually do what's called hollowing, where you are undead, but you no longer have anything going on inside your head. You're just blank. You're just a zombie at that point, essentially.
So it's like a progression.
Moving through the world.
You got so much, and then after so long, after dying so many times, okay. That
Correct.
Sounds like it's going to require a lot of exposition if it were made into a movie. Just as a side note on my
Correct. I absolutely agree. Yes. There will definitely need to be either some very, very good editing or some heavy exposition.
Yeah.
Because it is, at least in the game, it is a completely silent protagonist, and it is the other characters that you come along and the set piece type of bosses that you encounter that really make the game and the feeling of the game what it is.
All right. Now the character, so he sounds like kind of like an average type of person that then is sent on this amazing journey. Is that kind of accurate?
I think the journey finds the character.
Okay.
So I think the start of the game is your character is trapped in a cell,
Okay.
and another character comes along, doesn't say anything, but just drops the key for you to escape.
Okay.
And then you find your way from there.
Okay. It sounds like there could be other interesting characters along the way as well.
Lots of interesting characters. And I think they really provide the characters you meet and what happens to them as the story progresses gives the tone of the story. As far as the game goes, you are kind of responsible for how their stories develop.
Okay.
If you interact with them in certain ways, then later on, maybe their story will end up happier, or maybe they'll die, or something really bad will happen to them, and it's up to you. So
Okay.
I think in a movie context, that kind of stuff is already set, but it would be how the character rediscovers these characters as they go along their journey and what happens to those characters around them.
And you said that in the game, the main character doesn't say anything at all.
Nope.
Completely silent. That would be tough to do, but it's not impossible. But that does sound like it could be intriguing. However, I'm going to have to give that a lower score. It sounds like that might be tough as far as it transitions into the screen, like the big screen or a TV screen. So
Sure.
I'm going to score that one. I'm going to give that one a straight 50 because that, to me, that could go either way.
Could go either way.
So,
That's fair.
Adaptability, I think I have enough to kind of make a judgment on this. This to me sounds like a TV show all the way because it sounds like there's a lot that's going to have to happen. It sounds like it's got a lot of twists and turns and a lot of story beats, like you mentioned. So I think that the TV screen would be the ideal home for whatever this game is. And so I'm going to give that adaptability score. I'm gonna score it a little bit lower than I did Horizon Zero Dawn. So I'm going to give that one about a 70 for TV for a TV show.
I agree. I think it would be best as a series.
Okay, cool. So now is the time to reveal what is the mystery of game number 2.
This game is another one of my personal favorites. I'm actually playing through it on my Twitch channel right now, the remastered version. This game is called Dark Souls.
Well, I got to tell you, Lyle, I was not picturing a medieval setting when you were giving me the gist of it. So I got to say, though, I'm sticking by my decision to keep it as a TV show. I think that would work, especially with, how popular Game of Thrones was and things like that. But it was vague, like you said. It does have a lot of it's like a playground, I feel like. And I think if a savvy filmmaker came along and treated it right, that it could really be something cool to watch.
Treasure hunter Nathan Drake recovers a coffin of his ancestor, Sir Francis Drake. The coffin contains his diary, Sir Francis Drake's diary, which gives the location of El Dorado. However, pirates attack the salvage boat and Nathan has to be rescued by his friend Sully. Nathan, Sully, and reporter Elena Fisher go to the coordinates of where El Dorado is supposed to be, only to discover that someone else is already there looking for El Dorado, and they will kill anyone who gets in the way. Can Nathan stay one step ahead of these bandits and discover the truth of El Dorado and Sir Francis Drake?
Well, that does sound pretty cool, and I can tell you that it's Far Cry. I know that.
No, it's not Far Cry.
Oh, which one is it? Oh gosh,
It's not Far Cry.
What? I thought that's what Nathan Drake was.
No, it's not Far Cry.
Oh man, I just made myself look like a bigot.
No, that proves that you don't play these things, and that's why this is a great exercise.
I obviously am so far out of touch already. So okay,
I haven't played Far Cry, so maybe Far Cry sooner.
I've heard that
but I don't
name
think so.
before. I thought they made a short film, and Nathan Fillion played Nathan Drake.
So you're thinking of the right series, you just have the wrong name.
Okay, got it. Well, that makes me feel a little bit better. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so story-wise, this I if you said it's the same series, I've got a lot of like adventure type images running through my head, like a lot of Indiana Jones. I just recently rewatched The Mummy and The Mummy Returns, so I've got a lot of those vibes coming through my head right now. So I'm all about
perfect.
Okay, great. So I'm just gonna go ahead and give story. Let's see, what was my highest story? 182. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this one an 87.
I will say it's not original in any way. Like,
well,
it is very clearly like.
I mean, Indiana Jones is some of my favorite.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite. And I'm,
Me too.
always
Yeah.
chasing that kind of a feeling when I go to a movie. So if there's something that has that potential, I'm there for it. So.
Yep. Then this is. I mean.
So character-wise, this Nathan Drake character. You mentioned several other characters, but tell me a little bit more about this Drake character.
So Nathan Drake has grown up as a treasure hunter. He started out when he was young as kind of a thief. He would pickpocket people, got really, really good at talking his way out of things.
Okay.
But he became obsessed with the mystery and the lore surrounding Sir Francis Drake. And so his story kind of starts with him trying to get some of Sir Francis Drake's stuff out of a museum.
Okay.
He gets caught by a guy named Sully. Sully is, I'd say 20-ish years older than Nathan, but they end up becoming really good friends and working together. And so Nathan slowly, he's very somewhere in between, I would say, Indiana Jones and whoever Brendan Fraser's character is in The Mummy. That kind of fun that has all that knowledge in his head. Like, who knows all this crazy history stuff, but he knows. Like, he has a journal.
Okay. Got it.
That's the kind of guy. And he's funny. Lots of one-liners, lots of good stuff. And he, is good with fighting with his fists and with gunplay. So.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that sounds like this kind of the swashbuckling character that, the silver screen loves. And the main villain, what are we looking at as far as the stakes in this? Is that spoiler, or is that going to give too much away? No,
I'd say it's kind of a standard deal. So I can't remember the name of the villain. So the villain changes from game to game.
Okay.
I believe the villain wants the treasure for themselves. Like, it's pretty typical.
So it's kind of like a cat and mouse chase. Or something like that.
They're essentially just like, I guess Indiana Jones movies. They're just going to allow Nathan to get ahead of them and work his way through these puzzles and solve this stuff, and then eventually try and take the treasure at the end for themselves.
Okay.
I don't remember in the first game it being a particularly compelling enemy. It was your standard bad guy. But as the series moves forward, the villains get better and better. Okay.
The characters might be a little generic, which isn't a bad thing. There could be some really good stuff there. I'm not going to score it as high as I did Horizon Zero Dawn, but I'm going to score it a lot higher than I did Dark Souls. So that puts it somewhere at around a 72.
Okay. And I got a feeling that playing the game would change your mind on that. Okay. I don't think I'm selling these characters as well. They are stereotypical, but man, they're lovable.
All right. Well, so it sounds to me like I'm going straight to movie franchise with this, like not just one movie, but a whole franchise. So that's not called Far Cry, like the game.
No, not called Far Cry.
So I feel like this one is probably the most adaptable of the ones that you've pitched so far. So that makes me have to give this at least an 80. I feel like. So I'm gonna give it an 80 at adaptability. So this one's gonna score pretty high, I feel like.
And Hollywood would agree with you because this is the one that has a movie coming. So.
Right. I was gonna say we haven't got to that one yet, so that one makes that this one. So
yeah, very
cool. So I guess please tell me how wrong I was and tell me what the name of this game is.
It was Far Cry. No, it is Uncharted.
Uncharted.
I'm pretty sure most of that, if not all of it, was actually footage from the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The the way it plays out is, other than some of the combat, is very cinematic already. So
Wow.
I think it's very adaptable.
Well, I definitely, I'm to stand by all these scores that I gave it. That's pretty cool. I would definitely play that game. It's on PlayStation only though, so I don't have a PlayStation, so I don't know.
Well, you'll have to get one or borrow one from me.
Lyle, now is the time, the big moment, the big reveal of all the scores. Are you ready for this?
Let's do it.
Okay, so the number 3 most adaptable movie, according to me, would be Dark Souls with a total score of 186. Does that surprise you at all?
No, not at all. I mean, it's such it's a deep world, but a very vague world, and conveying that in a movie setting would be difficult. And I think you're dead on that doing it as a TV show, a series would actually be the best medium for it outside of a video game.
In the number 2 spot, Uncharted coming in at 239.
That surprises me too, because I chose that one specifically with you in mind. I was like, I think you would love this. So,
and it's already got a movie being made.
Yeah. So we know that it's adaptable. We know it's going to happen.
Very
Will
cool.
they do a good job? I don't know.
Well, yeah, that's not our job to do. It's, we're just trying to, tell people what they should make. So
yeah, I will say this, they're getting better at video game adaptations into movies and TV shows. So I have hope.
The number 1 video game of these 3 that we think should be a movie is Horizon Zero Dawn. The top score, 249 out of a possible 300. I gotta say, I was pretty blown away by the description that you gave, and watching the trailer was just awe-inspiring. Like, I think that would be something you need to watch on the biggest screen possible, in the IMAX, a huge tub of popcorn, turn your mind off, and just enjoy.
People cosplaying robots in the lobby, Oh yeah.
Got so much potential, and from what you described, the story sounds like it's right up there with what we want when we go to the movies. So very, very intriguing possibility there of Horizon Zero Dawn.
Absolutely, and it's a game you should absolutely play.
With that, we want to thank you all for watching, but before you click away, tell us in the comments what games you would like to see become movies, or what would you give the score to these movies to these games that we went over today. Tell us in the comments. We look forward to seeing what you think. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. And Lyle, tell people one more time where they can find you online.
You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/sharksgaming. That's SHARXX. Same place on Twitter, Sharks Gaming.
Very cool. Well, thank you everyone for watching. Now, let's click play.